Round 2 wrapped up at Roland Garros, and the two matches that stood out for me in today's coverage and the ones that I want to discuss in today's video were Monfils against Draper and Fonseca against Saber. And I cannot recall seeing so much excitement about a player. And I'm talking about the Brazilian fans that seem to follow Fonseca everywhere he goes. Now, with this much attention, there is going to be some criticism too. And I am seeing some negative comments about Fonseca. Some really dumb things like he hits too hard, he's going to wear himself out, but also some personal insults that he's just a overhyped rich kid. Now, during last year's US Open, I made a video where I talked about Navarro and Pegula, and I'm going to link that video in the description. You can watch it, but let me give you a quick summary of that video. And I've been teaching tennis in Palm Beach County for close to 20 years, and there are a lot of rich people in Palm Beach County, and a lot of these rich people have kids that play tennis. And one thing that's crystal clear is that money cannot buy you a tennis career, because trust me, a lot of people try. If you want to become a good tennis player, let's not even talk about the professional level, even getting a Division I scholarship, you have to put in a tremendous amount of work. So to me, the fact that you see players from rich families make it to the pro level tells you all you need to know about that player, because they did not need to go through that roller coaster life of being a professional tennis player and pretty much invest their entire life into maximizing their potential. There are more comfortable ways to live if you have rich parents. Now, today's match against Saber to me was more impressive than the first round match against Hurkacz. First and foremost, Saber played a phenomenal match, and I think it was difficult for Fonseca to face a player who plays the game differently. It's a tad old school. Saber likes to come to the net. He's an incredible doubles player and doesn't play necessarily with as much spin as most of the guys that Fonseca is facing. So from that standpoint, this was a tricky match. Now, in a video from a couple of days ago, I said that Saber will also have the crowd on his side. And somebody in the comments said, actually, the crowd will be on Fonseca's side. And I thought, you know what? That's actually an excellent point. And again, there were so many Brazilians in the stands, and the atmosphere was fantastic. And this match became very complicated, but what was so impressive about Fonseca today was the fact that he won the clutch points. Very similar to the way he played in the clay court tournament in Buenos Aires, where he won his first title. Today he didn't necessarily display his absolute best tennis, even though I don't think that he played poorly. This was a high quality match, but more importantly, he displayed mental strength. Now, looking ahead to the third round, the one match that I'm super excited about is Draper against Fonseca, and Fonseca has a really good chance to beat Draper, even though Draper is ranked number 4 in the world, because Fonseca possesses firepower that is out of this world. It is at the level of Sinner and Alcaraz when they're hitting at their hardest, and Fonseca maybe hits too hard at times. That's a topic for another video, and we'll have to watch more matches of Fonseca to see how his consistency is. But when he unloads on that forehand, it is maybe the most insane forehand that I've ever seen. But there's another thing. Fonseca will sometimes, for example, late in that second set tiebreak, unload his forehand on the return of serve, and not necessarily on the second serve, on the first serve, James Blake style. If you don't know, James Blake hit one of the fastest forehands in the history of tennis at the US Open, when he absolutely ripped a forehand of 125-mile-an-hour first serve, and he hit that forehand through the middle of the court, and it was still a winner. I'm seeing these type of returns from Fonseca as well, but it's not all about the forehand. His backhand is spectacular. Today he was forced to play a lot more defense, and his backhand passing shot is exceptional. And again, just like the first round, Fonseca was coming in quite a bit, and he looked comfortable at the net. And while the serve has improved, he was bringing the heat today. He's serving very fast. I think that there can be some improvements done on the serve, especially on the second serve. He did lose his serve quite a bit in today's match. Now, Draper today was in an absolute battle. the match against Monfils, maybe the best match that I've seen so far at Roland Garros. Monfils was fighting like crazy. He was absolutely gassed. Some of that had to do with his first round match that went 5 sets. And down 2-1, Monfils gave himself chances to win that 4th set. He was up 5-2, and there was a spectacular game at 4-2 that went over deuce. I think that game exhausted Monfils, but he won it anyway, and he just couldn't convert this set. He had many opportunities in each one of those games, but eventually, once we got to 5-all, you can see the exhaustion on Monfils in the rallies, and of course after the rallies. Maybe he was also cramping a little bit. He tried really hard to hold that game at 5-all in the 4th. You can hear that the grunts were getting louder and louder, but when I saw him attempt that drop shot, which was basically a bailout shot, unfortunately Monfils at that point was simply too exhausted to have any chances to win this match. Now, I remember reading a lot of comments in the last year or so that Draper is good, but he's really bad if the match goes to distance. And to me, it looked like Draper could have gone another 2 sets in today's match. First of all, I don't know how much truth is in that he couldn't go to distance. But fact is that if you saw Draper at last year's US Open, where he made the semifinals in a best-of-5 Grand Slam tournament under a lot of humidity in New York, Draper was doing quite well. He's got himself in incredible shape. He's a great athlete and a very dangerous player on any surface. Now, Fonseca and Draper played each other once in Indian Wells, a match that Draper won. But out of all the 3rd round matches happening, I'm the most excited about Draper Fonseca. See, the energy that the crowd brings to these matches, you just can't turn away. Every match that Fonseca plays seems like a Davis Cup match or a big final to me. Guys, that's it for today's video. Make sure that you subscribe to Intuitive Tennis on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to Intuitive Tennis 24/7 on YouTube. This is where I put most of my shorter content. And if you want more Intuitive Tennis, go to intuitivetennis.com and become a member at Intuitive Tennis Premium, which is also available on the iOS App Store. I'm going to put a link in the pinned comment. And I will see you guys very soon in another video.